Germany is planting armor on Russia's border, India and China are pretending to be friends again, and the UK is floating the idea of putting troops in Ukraine. I am Mandatory Fun Day. This is Worldwide Wednesday. Here's everything you need to know in a couple minutes. At the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about the Russia-China SCO Summit, which is their answer to NATO. And after that, I'm going to be reading some of my favorite comments from previous videos. Germany is permanently deploying 1,000 troops to Lithuania under the 45th Panzer Brigade. Germany is going to stay put. This is not rotational. They are going to have these troops there for the long haul. Lithuania sits right on Russia's doorstep next to Kaliningrad, making it strategic real estate. NATO's enhanced forward presence gets a major credibility boost because of this. The brigade will bring tanks, armor, logistics, and command elements, literally everything that you need to run an effective military element. Berlin is signaling it wants to lead, not just follow, in European defense, and for Russia, this looks like NATO tightening a noose around its western border. This is tremendous reassurance for Lithuanians. Their eastern neighbor isn't left to fight alone. And permanent basing is going to make reinforcement faster and retreat politically impossible. Germany making a permanent station in Lithuania is a generational shift. Since World War II, German leaders have been haunted by the idea of sending tanks eastward. Now Berlin is deliberately parking armor where Moscow can see it every single day. For NATO, it's a psychological message. Germany's military is back. For Russia, it raises the stakes. If conflict erupts, striking Lithuania means killing German soldiers on day one, which drags Berlin deeper into the fight. This is a significant credibility move. Once those soldiers are dug in, Germany can't quietly pull them home without looking weak. The question is whether German voters, many of whom have grown comfortable with low defense spending and pacifist rhetoric, are truly ready for what comes with this commitment. Should Germany be the one taking point in Eastern Europe, or is this a job for the US and Poland? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that. The UK says troops could deploy to Ukraine post-war. This would be part of a multinational security arrangement. France and Germany backed the proposal at a Washington summit, and the commitment is conditional. Only once Russia stops fighting. They're not going to put troops on ground until the conflict is over, and the troops are meant to really, they're supposed to be there to help rebuild. Britain has already been a top arms supplier for Kyiv. This would be Britain's first direct troop footprint in Ukraine. The language of this commitment very carefully avoids combat role. When you're talking about the legalities of war, of which there are many, any service member can tell you if they've gotten a law of war brief. There's a lot of laws that go into fighting wars legally. I mean, they're going to be exceptionally careful on who they send, where they send them, and what their designated role is. There are going to be strict left and right limits for this. How Ukraine will receive this, I have no idea. This is a long-term promise, but it is not immediate relief. This announcement walks a pretty fine line. On one hand, Britain is signaling it won't abandon Ukraine after the shooting stops. On the other, it avoids the messy political risk of sending troops while the bullets are flying. It's the perfect compromise for them. It shows solidarity, but it keeps body bags at zero. The only problem is that Ukraine doesn't need after-war support. It needs deterrence during the war. Promising troops later might reassure European allies, but it doesn't scare Moscow now. This could also reveal something deeper. Are Western leaders planning for a post-war Ukraine that looks something like South Korea, a frontline state with permanent foreign troops? Not a NATO member, but permanently guarded. A lot of that is going to depend on whether Russia is willing to accept like a frozen conflict or keep the heat turned up indefinitely. Can they even afford to do that? Is this a real commitment to Ukraine's security or just clever politics from London? Hey, the video's not over, but I want to tell you about themandatoryfunday.com. That's where you can pick up all my merch, shirts, hats, coffee mugs. We've also got a membership section. You get 20% off merchandise purchases if you're a member, and you get access to exclusive content. This week's exclusive content is going to be on my personal life. I'm going to start giving you guys some insight into what I have going on personally, my projects, my successes, my failures, my greatest fears. I am not kidding. I'm going to get deep. I want to give you guys more personal insight into the person that you're supporting. And so I really look forward to sharing it with you guys. Last thing about the website is we've got a link for regulation compliant shirts that you can wear under your uniform. Let's get back to the video. NATO defense chiefs met in Brussels. One of Italy's admirals presided over the session. The U.S. Air Force general briefed on Trump-Putin talks, and the meeting focused on security guarantees for Ukraine. No NATO membership yet, but stronger promises are on the table. Italy's leadership role shows smaller NATO states stepping up. Russia condemned the discussions as provocation, as they would, as per tradition. Kyiv says guarantees must be fast, not symbolic. The alliance still won't commit boots on the ground. NATO's conversation about Ukraine is starting to sound like deja vu. Membership is always someday, but security guarantees are always today. Admiral Dragone, chairing the talks, highlights NATO's attempt to show this isn't just a US-led show. The good admiral chairing the talks highlights NATO's attempt to show this isn't just a US-led show. It's a true alliance effort. Without US political and financial muscle, though, these guarantees don't mean much. The irony is that NATO has created a security limbo. Ukraine is too important to be abandoned, but too risky to admit. That limbo actually benefits Russia because as long as Kyiv isn't a formal member, Moscow can keep pressure on NATO edges without triggering Article 5. NATO's solution, lots of promises without the membership card, might hold for now, but history suggests half commitments often unravel under real stress. Is Ukraine ever going to be a member of NATO? What do you think? Belgium wants to reopen the historic Iron Rhine Railway. The route would be Antwerp through the Netherlands through Germany's Ruhr. R-U-H-R. I don't know, did I say that right? I have no idea. I mispronounce something in every video. The purpose would be faster troop and tank movements east, and the Netherlands pushes back because they're citing environmental costs. The dispute centers on cutting through Dutch nature reserves. You know how the Dutch, they love their trees and stuff. Military planners say delays could slow NATO mobilization. Politicians are saying that it's too expensive for uncertain benefit. Logistics does win wars, and so any way that we can get NATO movements faster, I mean, that's a win. Belgium sees this route as a vital artery for rushing tanks and artillery east in the event of a Russian assault, but the Netherlands is balking, essentially saying, save the trees. This is NATO's internal problem. Collective defense depends on collective sacrifice, but when push comes to shove, local politics often trump military necessity. The Iron Rhine may look like an old, dusty rail project, but in strategic terms, it is the backbone of NATO mobility. Should NATO force this through, or should local politics win out over strategy? What do you think? I feel like I already know y'all's answer, what y'all's answer is going to be to this. I think I know. The Indian Prime Minister met the Chinese Foreign Minister last week. Their topic was border stability in the Himalayas. Both sides pledged to host future BRICS summits, India in 26 and China in 27. This comes after years of clashes along the line of actual control. The public tone was cooperation, not confrontation. The private reality was probably close to troops are still eyeballing each other on the border. The timing coincides with Trump's new tariffs hitting India, which is interesting. China may be capitalizing on the frustration India is feeling over the tariffs. A China-India understanding helps counter U.S. pressure. There's been no resolution yet, just a pause in the sparring. And they literally are sparring. I mean, they are literally using like melee weapons on the border. The optics of cooperation are useful, but both countries need to show they aren't isolated by Western pressure. Underneath, the Himalayan border hasn't moved an inch. Indian troops still camp at altitude, Chinese patrols still probe, and mistrust runs deep between these nations. This friendship isn't about love, it's about survival. Both economies are under strain from U.S. trade pressure, and aligning even temporarily does make sense. The real test will come during the next border skirmish. If bullets fly again, this whole thing is gonna vanish. Do you believe India and China can ever be real allies, or are they destined to be rivals forever? The U.S. slapped 50% tariffs on Indian goods this month. India's government denounced the move as unfair. They confirmed defense deals with the U.S. are still on, though, and India needs U.S. drones and aircraft to counter China. These tariffs target textile, steel, and tech exports, and India faces billions in lost trade revenue if they stand. Their domestic businesses are actually pressuring them to retaliate, and they may look to diversify imports from France or Russia. India is framing itself as a victim of U.S. protectionism. This trade war reveals India's awkward position. Economically, it's being squeezed by Washington's tariffs. Strategically, it still needs Washington's weapons. They can complain in public, but in private, India will keep signing defense contracts because its military reality demands it. Long-term, India may try to build its own domestic arms industry faster. Think drones, missiles, naval tech, stuff like that. But that takes years. That takes a very, very long time. Until then, India is stuck buying U.S. gear while gritting its teeth at U.S. tariffs. It's definitely not built on trust, this relationship. It is built on necessity. And the more the U.S. uses its economic muscles, the more India will look for backup suppliers like France or even Russia to hedge its bets. If you were India, would you swallow the tariffs for the weapons or cut ties and double down on local production? Or would you do a combination of both? What would you do? Would you let it rip? That was a Beyblade joke. Pretty niche that one was. Let's get on to the next topic. Xi Jinping will host the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. The attendees include 20 or more heads of government, Putin being among them. The focus is counterterrorism, security, and regional cooperation. The SCO is growing into BRICS' security arm very quickly. Russia is framing this as proof that NATO doesn't control like the world order, isn't the primary military might. China is using it to showcase their leadership beyond the West. India will play an awkward balancing act inside the room. The SCO is often dismissed as a talking shop, but each year it grows more like a shadow NATO. China hosting Putin and 20 other leaders is Beijing's chance to show it can convene a global bloc independent of Washington. For Russia, it's a rare chance to appear strong and surrounded by partners instead of sanctions. The problem is cohesion. Unlike NATO, the SCO doesn't have binding defense commitments. We can't underestimate the symbolism. The more Moscow and Beijing normalize joint summits, shared exercises, and common declarations, the more it looks like an alternative power structure. It won't replace NATO anytime soon, but in regions like Central Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, the SCO gives China and Russia a platform to pull countries into their orbit. That's what NATO fears. Not a peer rival today, but the scaffolding of one tomorrow. Could the SCO ever become a serious military alliance, or will it stay a glorified conference? All right, we're at the end of the video. Let's do some of these funny comments. Lee Haren 9705 said, I, for one, am tired of Britain sticking their nose in everyone's business. They don't run the world and haven't for hundreds of years. I think they need a reminder of why they don't. I like Britain. I feel like they're pretty nice. Can't get too mad at them. And they spent hundreds of years invading countries all over the world for spices, and then they never used them in any of their food. But we like Britain. I don't know. Email me directly, Lee, and let's talk about this. I need to know where this frustration's coming from. Paul said, MFD merch is my official clothing line for my tattoo addiction. Tattoos safer than boofing zins. Tattoos are safer than boofing zins. Paul, that is an astute observation, and I appreciate your support. M224-E5Y, fair estimate, you have given me approximately 58% of the laughs God had in store for me this year. How remarkable for one person to do that. I know I don't deserve you, brother. That's a really, really meaningful comment. That means a lot. I'm so glad I make you so happy, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Happy Haunter said, the tism and patriotism is the best design you've put out. Haha, love you, my brother. Says U.S. Navy retired. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. S. Duplac 4340 said, rock on, Mr. Funday. This is from a 1900s vet. 1900s. No need for Urban Dictionary here. Your videos are informative and fun. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, man. Gosh, you guys are being nice. A4300 said, haha, love the Googling of slang you love. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. Ideas for new merch. Uncomfortably close. Have fun with that. Keenan Smith 82. Thank you. You know what? Yeah. We can work with that. Steve, send this to Jay, the video editor, the graphic artist. You're the video editor, Steve. Sorry about that. That was not me talking to myself. That was me sending a message to the editor to talk to the graphic artist. We'll work on that merch. When the voice matches the face. User 9001. You know what? You didn't pose this as an insult, so I'm taking it as a compliment. My voice is not annoying, as everybody told me growing up, and so neither is my face. All right, that's this week. Germany digs in. Britain promises troops later. India pretends to like China, and Russia teams up with Beijing to show off a NATO knockoff. What do you think, though? Who had the smartest move this week, and who just made noise? Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to watch another one of my geopolitics videos. You can find one of those right here, and I will see you next time.